Hello and welcome to Celtic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.celticriffs.com. My name is Jason JROCK Houston, and it's my honor and great pleasure to be speaking with Swan Montgomery, the lead singer from Led Zeppelin. But today we're going to be talking to Swan, who just released his latest solo album, which is called The High Man. You want to talk a little bit about the new solo album and talk about how long it took to make this?
Yeah, well, The High Man is a concept album.
Okay.
And it was, it's to do with a mythological Celtic figure.
Okay.
By the name of Finn McCool. What it is that two friends of mine in Ireland,
Okay.
Anthony Murphy, who's a writer who writes a lot about Celtic mythology, and also Richard Moore, who's an artist that is a painter and paints all the local places around the Irish town where I'm from. Anyway, both of them got together and they come up with this discovery because they're also into astrology.
Okay.
And they come up with the concept of they were looking at a map and all these ancient Celtic sites that is in my area, in surrounding area where I grew up as a child in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
And all these Celtic ancient sites, one of them by the name of Newgrange, which is even more popular against Stonehenge,
Okay.
are all connected through roads and rivers.
Wow.
So when you connect them all on a map, and you draw a line, right?
Yeah.
They become the shape of a figure.
Oh,
Ironically.
Okay.
So, and the shape of the figure, with the connection of all where these ancient sites are, they came to the conclusion that this was the ancient. I'm sorry, it wasn't Finn McCool. It's Cuchulainn. That's the name of the warrior, the Celtic warrior.
And is that the figure that's kind of on your album cover for The High Man?
Correct.
Oh,
correct.
Wow. Interesting.
That is the drawing of when they looked at the map and they sketched it all out. They couldn't believe the connection, and so again, it's all Celtic mythology and the connection between the ancient sites and Cuchulainn, who was known to have been connected with some of these sites, and then on top of that, with the astrology, the shape of Orion in the stars is also a similar connection to the shape of the High Man on the land.
Wow. And what's interesting in prepping for this, talking to you today, Swan, I was listening to the album last night, and I got to tell people, okay, first of all, if they're expecting this to sound anything like rock-oriented or anything like Led Zeppelin, it definitely does not. It's very different, I think, when people listen, but different in a good way. First of all, one thing that's kind of interesting when I was listening to it, we do not get your beautiful vocals that you're known for. This is all instrumental music. So, first of all, I'm assuming you played all the instruments on here?
Yes, I used some samples and I played a lot of the instruments on there. Yes.
And was that quite different for you? Doing music without vocals?
Well, no, it's not my first time out. I compose music for some independent movies that I've done before. So I'm sort of I like doing that. Creating music for a moment or a scene in a movie and stuff like that, or a vibe of a place that I've been. And in this particular place, I grew up around all these ancient sites. I mean, I used to go out and play, back in the day when we didn't have video games and all that. We had cowboys and Indians back in Ireland, you see, and we'd go out and play cowboys and Indians all around these ancient sites, and didn't really care what they were, or Whereas today, now it's like, wow, I can't believe it.
So this is the kind of music that was what you were listening to back in Ireland, huh? When you were growing up.
Well, I grew up in Ireland listening to traditional Irish music.
Okay.
And so it wasn't necessarily, when you get into bands like, I was influenced later, bands like Clannad, which is an Irish, very famous Irish group from Ireland, from Donegal in Ireland, which is the best, the sister of the lead singer of Clannad would be Enya. So everybody in America knows who Enya is.
Okay, yeah. And another thing I took immediate kind of notice of was the song titles. I mean, I'm kind of assuming for example, the Highman. But like Mount Oriel or
correct.
These are all names. These are Irish.
These are all names of sites.
Oh, okay. So these are the different sites. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so kind of each song on the album represents a different site. Wow.
Yeah, I think I can't remember. There's 21 or 22 sites that's connected through the roads and rivers that draw out this mythological Highman, you see. Yeah. And that's the names of all these sites. Newgrange, Millmount. These are all actual sites that exist where you can go visit today. Like, for instance, if you took a trip to Ireland and went into what they call the Boyne Valley, which is a very tourist attraction, and you can go to all these sites that I have actually composed music for.
Wow! Have you visited any of these sites throughout your life?
Oh yeah, well, as I said earlier on, I used to play as a kid, and just as a kid, play around there at some of these Celtic sites, and not for what they were. It was just a bunch of stones and broken down buildings to me. But now, as an adult, I appreciate, and I've learned the history about what they are and what they mean.
That's a beautiful thing,
I've gone to all these sites.
That's a beautiful thing with your music. You're educating many of us Americans who have never even heard of these sites, and I mean, even just talking to them, like, wow, this is quite impressive. I'm gonna go and look up all these different sites, and just look at the pictures, and listening to the album, I gotta tell you, some things that really came to my mind was the music just in general, and the entire album. It's very soothing music. It's peaceful. I mean, throughout the entire album, and it just kind of it gets you off in a different kind of way, but yet in a very good way.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely soothing, and it gives you, individually, each person will get what they want from it, but it's definitely relaxing and sends out cool vibrations, to you, where you can relax and think. And
I mean, I never really would have thought of this before, but till talking to you today, but it's almost music that I dare say you could meditate to, relax to.
Yeah, no, definitely, without a doubt, because obviously I know where the music came from and where it was inspired, because I visited all these sites and got the feeling from the sites, so I was able to come back to the studio and understood the vibe, because I was actually there, physically there, and then whatever inspiration I had musically, that's what came out in my representation of that particular site.
Yeah. Now, I was curious, the album.
People will take other things from that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
These songs, did you have them already recorded? Did you record a lot of this during COVID and all the lockdowns and all that?
Well, here's a bit more of a backstory. The Highman, I released the Highman in 2010.
Oh, okay. Wow.
What it was, I did what I did was I didn't have the wherewithal to really get it out there from a publicity point of view.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went back and revisited. So that's why if you look on the download now, it's the Highman Revisited.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's what that is. Okay.
What it is, it's a blue cover, whereas the older one is a black cover.
Oh.
And the difference between the two, it's being remastered, remixed, but it's also I've added more textures and sounds to just bring it up a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
where they remaster albums, but I had a chance to go in and actually rewrite new parts to some of these existing songs. On top of that, to add, there actually is the High Man documentary, which is actually available on YouTube for free, and it's about a 31-minute documentary. The original idea was to try to get the History Channel, the Geographic Channel, involved and actually do a full-length, hour and a half, 2-hour documentary of this whole piece about the High Man in Ireland, what it represents. And we're actually looking at that right now to see if we can, that was like more or less put together as what you would say over here is like a pilot or a promo.
Okay. Wow.
People, because I believe that it was shot well and done even better than what it is online right now. It could be amazing, and I think a lot of people would be interested. And that's why when I discovered my two friends, they came up with the concept and made this discovery. It was me that went over there and met with them, because I grew up with them as kids, especially Richard Moore, who's one of these guys. And that's where I said to them, listen, if you're doing a documentary, I'm going to write the music for the documentary. Wow. So that's how it started in the beginning. And then, of course, we all went to the sites together and shot it with the idea of actually shooting for a potential documentary with the History Channel or something.
Well, good luck with that, man. I hope that comes to tuition,
Yeah, so that was the initial intent. But the re-release is just me, listening to it again and feeling, I can make this better. Now that we have, the resources with social media and everything to get it out there more, I'm going to relook at this, and that's what I do from a musical perspective. But the documentary still exists, and it's there on YouTube. It's called The High Man in Full. You can look at it, and it's only 31 minutes. And Anthony Murphy is hosting it. He's actually amazing as a host. He's perfect, to host a documentary like this, because he's in there talking about the sites. He's very knowledgeable about the whole thing. And then as you're listening to him, my music's playing under his dialogue / when you're looking at the actual.
And so have you gotten much response from people who have checked out the documentary so far?
Well, it hasn't been shown a lot yet. Like Anthony, out of frustration, because we had a potential couple of people interested.
Yeah.
This is going back a few years now. He just got, he said, well, I just put this together, so I'm just going to throw it up on YouTube. And that's what he did. But I've been talking to him since, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. It's okay. It can still be up on YouTube, but we should see what we can do about, getting people like the History Channel or the Geographic Channel interested in actually investigating this even more.
That would be cooler if you could. I don't know if you'd want to go this route. The route you're talking about, I think, might be a little better. But maybe even eventually, if people had enough and interest in even putting it on DVD or something, or maybe having a GoFundMe campaign where people could donate to it or something like that. I think that would be a cool possibility.
That's an interesting idea, actually. I might think about that. It's a good idea.
Yeah, you never know. And the thing I want to ask you, Swan, is this is not your first solo album. So the cool thing about doing a solo album is you can kind of go outside of the norm of what you're typically, like I said, people go to see you with Led Zeppelin. That's not what this is. So if you do a solo album, you want to maybe, this is something you've always maybe wanted to do and that you can't do with Led Zeppelin or, which is your main gig, but, and so each time you do a solo album, is that kind of what you like? Is okay, well, I want this to be a little different from the last album?
Well, that's a great question. I'm in the middle. I've been a solo artist for quite a while.
Sure, yeah.
And I have released a couple of solo albums.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly
evolving.
Evolving is the word, yeah. Evolving, and I wanted to relook at the High Man and revisit it, which is what I did. So now I'm trying to get people interested in that, and then segue to the documentary. What is the High Man? I'm getting a lot of feedback, from Canada. I'm like, oh, this is curious, really cool. And then so there's that, and then what I'm doing right now, I'm actually going to bring out an oldies sort of album.
Oh,
like
that would be
covers,
cool. That would be cool.
Covers of the likes of like the Hollies.
Wow.
The Turtles.
Wow, that would be cool. I mean, I seen something on YouTube like I don't know if this is something different or part of the same project you're talking about. It said like covers of Led Zeppelin. Is that something different?
No. That's that. There's a few shows like. That's one project I'm working on. Then I've written a bunch of other instrumentals that are very influenced by world music in general, from Indian music to Irish music to African music, and I'm just going to put that out. It's going to be called Universal Vibrations. So I'm constantly evolving in different ideas. Now with Led Zeppelin again, I don't know in our last interview, but I have come up with a show, and we have already tested the waters with this. It's called Symphony to Heaven.
I was reading something on Facebook, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Symphony to Heaven, what that is, it's Led Zeppelin, the four members of Led Zeppelin are basically playing all the songs acoustically, everything, right down to Kashmir, a whole lot of love, rock and roll, everything. But it's also has an added version, added players, and they are a quartet, which is, as you know, that's two violins, a viola, and a cello. And what I did with that was, I didn't want to do what all other people do. They have a Zeppelin, they have an orchestra with some sort of a Zeppelin-ish type of band in front of them, and everybody's done orchestrated.
I mean, you and Metallica,
I wanted to do something where it's a quartet, but with original music against the Led Zeppelin music.
Wow, I mean that's a totally cool idea. It's kind of like ever evolving. I imagine doing Led Zeppelin for over 30 years. As great as it's been for you guys that are in the band, you're kind of wanting to kind of change it up a bit, and that's a cool way to do it.
Well, that's what it is. It's just reinventing it. I've been doing Led Zeppelin's been together now 4 years, and I've just been trying to, come up with some different ideas, a different interpretation of Led Zeppelin music, and that is one. And we've actually played it in Canada, and we played a couple of shows here local, and it was well received. And right now, I'm talking to our manager again, and possibly doing more shows with Symphony to Heaven, where people just come out and check it out. We actually did it in Culver City, which was amazing. We did the town hall in Culver City, and it was packed. People were blown away by it. Like just the interpretation of everything acoustic with these quartet strings playing opposite parts from, say, Kashmir, and even going as far as doing songs like "Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You" with, as you know, the original. There's no strings in any of that.
Oh, wow.
What we did was we're playing the sort of original part of that Zeppelin, but we're adding strings to those parts, or like Tangerine. So it's all original parts. So that's another thing with Zeppelin. And then I've even taken it one step further. At the moment, I'm shopping around. I don't want to give too much away about it. Sure. I have a Led Zeppelin show, which is called Evermore. It's a multimedia concept show. Yeah. It's in the range of $5 million to put it out there.
Wow.
But as you know, you've got Love, and you got the Mamma Mia's, and We Will Rock You, and all these concept shows out there. Michael Jackson won. Well, this is a Led Zeppelin to the world of Led Zeppelin, to all the artwork and everything, and that's a show I'm working on at the moment as well.
Well, that's interesting. Now, would you ever, again, this is a great one of, I dare say, like, when I tell people about Led Zeppelin, I say, you guys are really the premier, Led Zeppelin tribute, and I say that not just because I'm talking to you, but you shared with me in one of the last interviews we did that you guys are really kind of, I don't know if you want to say endorsed by Led Zeppelin, but you were telling me when they did that filming of Celebration Day that you guys were their special guests that Led Zeppelin flew to London, and that's got to be like the ultimate, endorsement, I think.
Well, yeah, we were invited by Jimmy himself, because Jimmy met us. I have met Robert, and Jimmy invited us over to see that reunion show, and it was amazing. So, yeah, so that's the connection. In fact, I'm in the process of trying to get a meeting with Jimmy Page right now, as far as the last show I mentioned to you, which was Evermore, and I would like to get him involved, even co-produce. So we'll see what happens there. So I'm hoping something along those lines happens with that show. So we'll see.
And again, people might think this is a funny question because we're talking about a tribute band here, but I dare say one of the premier tribute bands, and what you guys are really great at, besides just doing Led Zeppelin, what I've always enjoyed about tribute bands is I call it rock and roll theater, because not the bands don't just do the music, but like even Led Zeppelin's case, you guys really dress the parts. I mean, people go to a Led Zeppelin concert, they're gonna, and they look at you, Swan, up on stage, they're gonna swear they're looking at Robert Plant from back in the day,
I appreciate that. Well, we just try to do the best we can. We try to create concept shows, which is like doing a 1975 sort of Earl's Court show, which is dress, look, and the song set list, or the song remains the same. The movie, again, one we're looking at right now is How the West Was Won. Oh. We're looking at that and creating that show. Possibly coming up at a place called the Magnolia, which is down in San Diego. We have a show coming up there very soon. And we're thinking of testing the waters with that show.
Oh, wow.
Called How the West Was Won.
Wow. And what I was getting ready to say is, it may be a silly question because, people say, oh, you're just talking about a tribute band, but these are great ideas for shows, and like the ones with the symphony. Would you ever toy with the idea of like maybe filming one of those shows, or putting out a live CD or a DVD or something like that, or would you not really be able to do something like that?
Well, we've done it. We've done it before. There is a CD out there. It's called The Song Remains the Same. The sound remains the same. Oh. And what we did was we actually recreated all of the live versions of The Song Remains the Same album. So that is out there.
I'll have to check that out.
It's up on iTunes, and then we actually have CDs that we've done and recorded the studio versions. Now this was all done, of course, before Led Zeppelin got up on iTunes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, but Led Zeppelin was not on iTunes, so we seen an opportunity, and so we went in and we created all this stuff. And we were doing very, very well, of course, then Led Zeppelin got up on iTunes and took it away from us a bit. So we're still doing okay there, but But of course, they're going to buy the real thing more than the tribute band. But that's the reason why we did all these recordings in the past. And yes, we could do one. Say, for instance, I mentioned the 75 Earl's Court. We actually have a recorded album of all the songs sitting there waiting to be released, but it's a matter of like when, what, how. And in fact, the Symphony to Heaven concept that I told you about with the quartet is an actual recorded album that is sitting there waiting to be released. I'm not going to release it unless that takes off or gets on a small tour or something where we can actually sell. Yeah,
then there would be a purpose to do it. Yeah, I see. And I got to tell you, Swan, it's interesting talking to you today because I'll tell you, originally when I reached out to you about setting up the interview today was because I thought, it's been a while. I was reading something about Led Zeppelin since I talked to Swan. I wonder what he's up to. I went on YouTube. I found, The High Man. I seen it was released July 2022. I said, oh, wow. Okay, so he's actually got a new album out. And again, I go on, I listen to the songs. I'm like, wow, this is kind of different. It's no vocals. So let me ask, like you said, I guess for you it's not that different because, like you said, you've recorded a lot of soundtrack music. A lot of people may not be aware of it. At least I wasn't. So like when you go in and you write these songs and they don't have vocals, and that's typically what you've been known for. I mean, you just go in and pick up an instrument and see what comes out, or how do you write a song? These instrumental tracks like that are on the High Man.
Well, on the High Man, like I said earlier, I'm familiar with the actual ancient sites.
Okay.
And I visit the site, so I play Irish bouzouki, and I play mandolin and stuff like that. So I'd probably be dabbling with Suzuki or something, and sort of get inspired by coming up with some chords, and then I'll maybe record that, and then I'll go in and maybe sample some cool Celtic sounds, and then play that on keyboards and stuff like that. So that's what happens there. In fact, actually, I have another album that was released earlier this year for St. Patrick's Day, which is an Irish album with me singing on it. By the way,
I'll have to check that out.
It's all Irish songs.
Wow.
But what I did a different take on the Irish songs. It wasn't me, singing a typical Irish ballad like they all do back home, but it was me taking them with sort of a bluesy sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Singing these very well-known Irish songs, and it's called Back to My Roots.
Oh wow.
Swan Montgomery, and that's actually that was released in March.
I'll have to check that. Oh boy, you're pumping stuff out there. That's now. I know, of course, you got Led Zeppelin. You got the other band, Robert Plantation. Have you done anything with that lately?
Well, unfortunately, that's a sad note for me. Unfortunately, we tried that out pre-COVID, and it was starting to take off. And then COVID kicked in, and then we tried to recover after that. But unfortunately, we had some opportunities, and we got to play them. But then some of the stuff fell through because whatever, and it's just. With booking agents, they want to be more familiar. They want to know that Robert Plant had all these hits, but unfortunately, they're not aware of how many hits that Robert Plant did have as a solo artist. And so I put that on the shelf at the moment because I was trying to break it, but it just didn't break yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And did you find a lot of people coming to the shows? That was kind of a problem, that when they think of Robert Plant, they know all the great Led Zeppelin songs, that they might not be as aware of solo material?
Well, what was working for us, it was me trying to convince the booking agents to put the band on, even as an opener before a really good band.
Yeah.
And what I found was that when people did get to see it, they were like, "Oh my God, I remember that song. I remember this song. I remember that song." So they got to know very fast how popular actually Robert Plant's solo album.
Yeah, because when I heard you were doing that, I thought with the
agents, it was a bit more harder to convince.
When I heard you were doing that, I thought, at least, as an idea, like original concept, that's something different. Because I can't think of one other guy that's gone out there and covered Robert Plant's solo material. So that was, it was a good thought, a good try, I guess. And then I was going to ask, so you got all these solo albums, and you're working on like this oldie things. You got the one you were just talking about, the St. Patrick's release. Have you ever given any thought to like doing a Swan Montgomery solo show or solo tour? Like doing a set of all these different songs from your different, or do you think it's too diverse?
Well, I think I have answers for you in all of these things. I actually have a solo project that I'm working on right now. And again, all the stuff I'm talking to you about is very deep and spiritual and all this stuff. But it's called The Realm of Oham, and what it is, I'm doing 6 solo songs. It's a concept show. I have dancers and I have a choir in it, and I'm putting that together right now with a bunch of visuals and stuff. So I'm hoping to maybe by the end of the year actually stream it to test the waters with it, and it'll be me singing live with different musicians, visuals, and dancers, and a choir. So that's what that is, and that's hopefully going to happen by the end of the year. I'm halfway through that right now, that project, getting ready.
Well, let me just say, Swan, anytime you get any of these projects off the ground, feel free to reach out to me, because I'd love to help you spread the word. Because, in just talking to you today, I think what interested me the most is, of course, we know you from Led Zeppelin, and people, and you've been in the band over 30 years, like you were telling me before, and that's, to be able to be in a tribute band for 30 years is quite an achievement, and I'm not cutting that short, because like I said, I'm a huge supporter of tribute bands, and you guys are one of the premier ones. But it sounds like you're one of these guys to me that's always trying to, even with Led Zeppelin, you're always trying to think of new ways to kind of spin it, always getting creative, and in all the solo stuff you do on the side. I just think it's great, and probably as an artist for you, it's kind of keeps it fresh for you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say that. Yeah, well, I mean, I've been playing the role of Robert for over 30 years, like you said, and then I respin that, and then of course one has to have one own identity. You know, and I have people coming up ask me many times, so do you do anything else other than portray Robert Plant? I mean, do you do something?
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to step back and say, well, actually, I do have my own identity. I have my own way of
doing things,
other than portraying Robert Plant. So, yeah, no, it's nice, and I definitely have a lot to offer from me as a solo artist rather than just portraying Robert all these years.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense. And I was curious, a guy that grew up in Ireland, did you actually, discover Led Zeppelin and that back in Ireland, or not, or when you came to the States?
No, I discovered Led Zeppelin in 1969, actually, when they first came out. A friend of mine, a school friend of mine, his brother was an older brother, and he had the money to go buy the albums, because we come from a small town in Ireland called Drogheda with one record shop, and so his brother got a hold of Zeppelin 1, and then he sort of took it out of his brother's collection and brought it over to me and played it, and said, God, you gotta hear this band called Led Zeppelin. I'm like, who? And Led Zeppelin? And I said, okay. So he borrowed me the album for 2 weeks, and I tell you that, when I heard that album back in late 69, I was like, that was it. And I was always a Led Zeppelin fan.
Since
growing up as a kid. So the idea of being asked to join a Zeppelin tribute band when I came to the States was like, what, really? I didn't know what tribute band was. And then, so it's cool to be able to trace 34 years, the band that you idolized and the singer that you didn't think that's amazing. So it's been a blessing, to be honest.
Oh, sure. And your friends that worked on the Highman with you from Ireland, I was curious, have they ever seen you perform with Led Zeppelin again? And if so, what were their thoughts?
Just one of them, Richard Moore, the artist, has received me perform. We actually went to Ireland and did a couple shows over there, and but Anthony hasn't seen me yet.
Oh, how fun is that? Yeah.
But hopefully, we're working on shows. We've got shows coming up now. And in the new year, we're actually going to do a tour of South America. We're actually going into Canada.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking at going over to Europe and possibly visiting Ireland mid next year. So hopefully they'll get an opportunity to see it.
And then
again.
And then I think I saw that you guys have a show coming up this Saturday. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to be playing at the Bourbon Room, which is down there in Hollywood. It's going to be an 9 o'clock show. Mm-hmm. It's an actual amazing venue there on Hollywood Boulevard. It's the coolest place you could ever go to. It's got that speakeasy old lobster vibe, but it's big, and it was originally built for Rock of Ages. We're going to put a show on in that there pre-COVID, and the stage is amazing, sound is amazing, and it's a great place to have a great night. So yeah, that's this Saturday at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. And so the Oldies album you talked about you're working on, do you have a projected release date for that? Like, are you thinking probably sometime next year?
No, I'm going to be pushing this stuff out sooner than later. I'm looking at maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Hey, let me know. I'll be checking that out, and I'd love to talk to you about that down the line. But thanks for taking time talking to me, Swan. It's always great to talk to you. And like I said, reason I reached out to you because I had no idea that the Highman was had been released before. I just checked it. I just came across it. Oh, wow, he's got something new. We should talk about this.
Well, I really appreciate you interviewing me, and it means a lot to me, and your help and your support means a lot. Thank you so much.
Anytime, my friend. You take care, and I'll be in touch and let you know once the interview's posted. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine.